Okay, so AI taking over jobs.
Right?
I mean, it's a pretty scary thought for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Right?
it's a big one.
Like you hear that and you instantly think, oh no, like what's going to happen to me?
Absolutely.
But what if there was like a book that's not just telling you to be scared, but kind of giving you a plan?
I like that.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today with AI and Your Job. 12 Pivot Scenarios by Swetlana AI.
Love this book.
It's really good.
So good.
As a must-read for anyone who's even like a little bit curious about AI and the future of work.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes this book so cool is it skips all that like doom and gloom stuff, you know? Like the robots are gonna steal our jobs and we're all gonna be out on the streets.
Yeah, none of that.
And it just gets right to the practical stuff.
It's like, how do we adapt?
Yeah. It's
Not how do we panic.
Right.
How do we actually like figure this out?
Yeah, and she does this with stories, which is really nice.
Yes, the stories are amazing.
She tells stories of real people who are like facing AI disruption like head on.
Yeah, these aren't just like hypotheticals or, you know.
Yeah, these are real people.
Yeah, people like you and me who are like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
Exactly. And one of the stories that really stood out to me was Maria.
Oh, yeah.
She's a rural worker and she's dealing with like big agribusiness, you know?
Well, yeah, they're using AI to basically take over.
Oh, yeah, they're just dominating the market with it.
You'd think it's game over for like the small farms, right?
Yeah, you would think.
How can you possibly compete?
Right, but that's what's so cool about this book.
She figures it out.
Maria finds a way and she uses AI to her advantage.
Which is like, what?
Yeah, she uses it.
Like, how does she even do that?
The book talks about how she uses these apps for soil analysis and crop disease identification to actually like improve her farming practices.
So cool.
Isn't that neat?
So instead of trying to beat these big guys at their own game,
Yeah.
she's like, I'm going to use this AI stuff to like level up what I'm already doing.
Exactly.
And focus on something different.
Yeah, and she focuses on niche sustainable farming.
Which people want.
Which is huge now. Yeah, people want that.
So she's not just surviving, she's like thriving.
Thriving.
Yeah, she's like carving out her own little space in this like AI-dominated world.
Exactly.
Okay, but I'm curious, like, does the book just stop at these inspiring stories?
Oh.
Or does it actually tell you like how to figure out your own pivot?
That's the best part. That's where the meat of the book is. It lays out a clear step-by-step method.
Ooh, I love a good method.
It's good. It's so good.
Tell me more.
And the first step is, and this is crucial for everyone listening, is an honest self-assessment.
Okay, so not just like listing out your job duties.
No, this is deeper.
Okay, so tell me more about the self-assessment.
It's about like thinking about all your skills, even the ones you might not even consider work skills.
You like that?
You know?
It's like thinking outside the box.
Yes, exactly.
Like maybe you're like amazing at organizing things. Or like you're really good at explaining complex stuff.
Yeah, those are assets. Those are huge in the age of AI.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like recognizing all these hidden talents that we just like take for granted.
Absolutely.
But then comes the scary part, right?
Yeah.
Figuring out which of those skills AI could potentially like replicate, gulp.
Exactly. Yeah, and the book, it really encourages you to be like brutally honest with yourself here.
Ooh, that's tough.
It's not about like dwelling on what AI can do, but it's about using that knowledge to figure out where you need to level up.
Right.
You know?
So it's like, okay, if AI can do this,
Yeah.
what do I need to do to be like even better?
Yes, exactly.
So let's say you've done that.
Okay.
You've gone through that self-assessment and you've realized like, oh man, some of my skills are like at risk.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
So the next step is, this is where the book's emphasis on lifelong learning comes in.
Okay, lifelong learning.
Yeah, it argues that the skills you need tomorrow probably don't even exist today.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's a good point.
So you need to be constantly adapting and learning new things.
Okay, but I gotta say, like, for a lot of people, the idea of like constant upskilling, it's daunting.
It is.
It's like people are juggling jobs, families, life.
Yeah.
How does the book address that?
It acknowledges that it's hard, but it says even small steps can make a big difference.
Okay.
It talks about microlearning.
Microlearning, what's that?
So that's like focusing on very specific bite-sized skills that you can pick up quickly.
Okay.
Maybe it's like a short online course or a workshop, or even just like dedicated reading time.
Okay, so it's like finding those pockets of time and being strategic with your learning.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I have to admit, like, all this talk about learning new skills makes me wonder,
Yeah.
is there anything AI can't do?
That's the question.
Is there anything truly future-proof?
Right. That's what the book tackles head on.
Okay.
And it says that while AI might be great at data and processing, it's still terrible at things like creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence.
Oh, those uniquely human skills.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, it's not just about learning new, like, technical skills.
Yeah.
It's about, like, doubling down on what makes us human.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Right.
And I love that the book actually gives you, like, specific examples and exercises to help you develop those areas.
Oh, yeah. It's very practical.
Yeah, it's not just, like, theoretical fluff.
No. It's like, here's how you actually do this.
Okay, let's talk about another scenario that I thought was really interesting.
Okay.
John, the elderly caregiver.
Oh, yeah. John.
It's like, you would think that robots are just destined to take over that field.
Yeah, you would think that, right?
Yeah.
Robots, caregivers.
Yeah.
But what's so interesting is how John embraces AI as like a partner,
Okay.
not a competitor.
Okay, so tell me how he does that.
He incorporates AI-powered medication reminders. He uses wearable health trackers to like monitor his clients' well-being.
Wait, so he's using those AI tools to actually enhance his caregiving?
Exactly.
Okay, so it's not replacing him. It's like giving him superpowers almost.
Yes, exactly. And by doing so, he can dedicate even more time and energy to those human elements of caregiving that AI just can't replicate.
Like what?
Like emotional connection, genuine companionship, those personal touches.
It's like he's becoming a super caregiver.
Yes, a super caregiver.
Yeah, because he's using the technology to, like, offer a level of service that wouldn't be possible without it.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
I know, it's so cool.
Okay, but I'm guessing John's story is just one of many in this book, right?
Oh yeah, so many. The book dives into a whole range of professions, truck drivers, musicians, artists, lawyers,
Wow.
all grappling with this rise of AI.
So it's like a choose-your-own-adventure guide
Yes.
to the future of work.
I love that.
So no matter what you do,
Mhm.
there's probably a scenario in there that, like, resonates with you.
Absolutely. And that's what I think is so valuable about this book. It's not just theory, it's real people, real challenges, and real solutions.
It gives you that framework to think about your own situation and start planning your own pivot.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've just scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
But I think it's clear that AI in your job
Yeah.
offers, like, a refreshing and optimistic perspective
It does.
on a topic that can feel really overwhelming.
Absolutely.
So for our listeners who are intrigued by what we've discussed so far, I highly recommend grabbing a copy of the book
Yes.
to hear the full stories.
Read the full stories. It's so good.
Yeah, because we're just giving you, like, the highlights.
The tip of the iceberg.
But to really, like, chart your own course in the age of AI,
Yeah.
I think this book is like an essential tool.
Couldn't agree more.
But before we get too carried away, we need to unpack that, like, general method you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
That's where the real magic happens, right?
Absolutely. That's where the book goes beyond inspiring stories and gives you a concrete plan of action.
Okay, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon to delve into those actionable steps
Can't wait.
and help you start crafting your own pivot plan in the age of AI.
It's going to be good. All right, so we're back.
Back again. Still diving into AI in your job.
Love it.
Before the break, we were talking about how this book lays out, like, a really practical method for navigating this whole AI revolution.
Absolutely.
And I think our listeners are, like, on the edge of their seats, waiting to hear how they can actually apply these ideas to their own careers.
Okay, so the book doesn't disappoint.
Okay, good.
And remember, we talked about the importance of self-assessment.
Uh-huh.
That was step 1. But step 2 is where things get really interesting.
Okay, hit me with it.
Embracing lifelong learning.
Okay, lifelong learning. I mean, I get the concept.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, the idea of, like, constantly upskilling themselves, it just feels overwhelming.
I get it.
Like, where do you even start?
It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
But the book, it acknowledges that feeling.
Okay, good.
And it's not about becoming an expert in everything overnight. It's about viewing learning as like an ongoing journey.
More like a marathon than a sprint.
Exactly. A
Don't
marathon.
pace yourself.
Pace yourself, exactly. And the book gives you a framework for identifying those specific skills that are going to be valuable in your field as AI evolves.
So it's about being strategic with your learning,
Yeah.
not just, like, randomly taking courses.
No. Be strategic about it.
Okay, but how do you even know which skills to focus on?
Right.
Like, the future's so uncertain.
That's the tricky part.
Yeah.
But the book does offer some guidance.
Okay.
It encourages you to look for trends in your industry. Pay attention to those emerging technologies and network with people who are ahead of the curve.
So it's about being proactive, doing your research, and, like, not being afraid to ask questions.
Yes, exactly.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Put yourself out there.
And remember, learning doesn't have to be a chore.
That's a good point.
It can be fun.
Yeah.
The book encourages you to explore your interests, take courses that excite you, even attend conferences or workshops to connect with other people.
So it's like finding that thing that you're passionate about
Yeah.
and then finding ways to learn about it.
Yes, and connecting with other people who are passionate about it too.
Yeah, because like that makes it more fun.
Way more fun.
You're not just like sitting there by yourself like, ooh,
Exactly.
I've got to learn this thing.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm excited to learn this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but let's be realistic.
Okay.
Even if you're like super committed to this lifelong learning thing,
Mm-hmm.
isn't there a risk that like AI will eventually catch up
Yeah.
and automate even those new skills that you've worked so hard to acquire?
That is a valid concern.
Yeah, it's like you're on this treadmill. It's like just keep speeding up.
Right. And it brings us to step 3 of the book's method,
Okay, step 3.
focusing on the human element.
Okay, we're back to the human element.
Back to the human element.
Yeah.
Remember, we talked about AI's limitations when it comes to creativity, critical
Okay.
thinking, emotional intelligence.
Yes, those are the things that make us uniquely human.
Exactly. And the book argues that those skills, they're going to become even more valuable in the age of AI.
So it's not just about learning new technical skills. It's like you're saying you got to develop those human skills alongside them.
Yes, you have to, it's like a 1-2 punch.
You got to have both.
Both.
Okay, so how do we do that?
So the book gives you some practical advice.
Lay it on me.
It says, practice empathy by actively listening to others, seek out diverse perspectives, even engage in creative activities like writing music or art.
So it's like nurturing that human side.
Yes.
Not just the technical side.
Exactly. You need both.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but does the book give any like concrete examples of how people are like successfully integrating these human skills into their AI-powered careers?
It does. It does. Remember Michael, the artist and writer we mentioned earlier?
Oh, yeah.
He
Wow.
was worried about AI writing tools taking over his job.
Yeah, it's a fear a lot of creative professionals have these days.
Big time.
Yeah.
But instead of panicking, he was like, okay, how can I use these tools to my advantage? And he discovered that these AI tools could handle some of the more mundane tasks, like research basic copywriting.
Okay, so it freed him up
Freed him up.
to focus on the more creative stuff.
Yes. The stuff that AI couldn't do.
So he doubled down on like developing his unique voice crafting, compelling narratives, infusing his writing with emotion and personality.
Exactly.
So it's like he used AI to become an even better writer,
Yes.
not a replacement for a writer.
Exactly. And that's a key takeaway from this book.
What's up?
It's not about fearing AI, it's about finding ways to collaborate with it, to use it as a tool to enhance your skills and create something truly unique and valuable.
Okay, that is a really empowering message.
It is.
But I'm guessing there's even more to the book's method.
Oh yeah, we've only covered the first 3 steps.
Oh my gosh, there's more.
There's more.
Okay, tease us a little bit.
We still have to unpack how to leverage AI as a tool, the importance of specialization, and the power of personal branding in the age of AI.
Ooh. Okay, you're killing me.
But we'll save all that
All right, fine, we'll save it for next time.
for the next part.
Okay, so don't touch that dial, folks.
I'm back.
We'll be back soon to explore those final steps and help you build your own AI-powered career plan.
It's gonna be good.
Okay,
So we're back.
part 3. Ready to wrap up this deep dive?
Absolutely. We've talked about a lot of tactical strategies.
Yeah, like upskilling and all that.
Embracing lifelong learning,
Yeah.
honing those human skills. But I'm curious, what are some of those more like unexpected pieces of advice the book offers?
Ooh, good question. One that really surprised me was this emphasis on viewing AI as a tool, not a threat.
Yeah. I feel like that's easier said than done.
Right. It sounds simple,
Yeah.
but the book really digs into that like mindset shift. You need to actually make that happen.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the fear.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All the headlines, doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But when you start thinking of AI as something that can actually like help you,
Yeah.
it changes everything.
So how do we do that? How do we actually make that shift? So the book encourages you to get curious about AI tools in your field. Like
Yeah.
what can they automate? Where can they give you an edge? It even says experiment, play around with these tools, see how they can actually fit into what you're already doing.
So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty.
Exactly. And it talks about this idea of becoming an AI translator.
Okay, an AI translator. Now I got to ask, what's that?
Basically, it's someone who can bridge the gap between human needs and AI capabilities.
Okay,
Someone who can, explain things clearly to both sides.
so it's like being bilingual.
Yeah, AI and human.
But instead of languages, it's like technology and, human needs.
Exactly. You got to speak both.
So it's not just about being tech savvy, it's about communication,
Yes.
understanding the human element, and finding that sweet spot where technology and human ingenuity kind of like meet.
You got it. And that actually ties into another piece of advice from the book,
Okay, what's that?
specialization.
Okay, so we hear a lot about niching down these days.
Yeah.
But how does that play out in the age of AI?
Well, the book argues that as AI automates more of those routine tasks, your unique expertise becomes your most valuable asset.
So it's like becoming that go-to person
Yes.
for something that AI can't just swoop in and do.
Exactly. Give me an example.
Sure.
Okay, so imagine you're a graphic designer.
Okay.
Instead of trying to compete with AI design tools on generic projects,
Yeah.
you might specialize in something like sustainable packaging design
Yeah.
or user interfaces for augmented reality experiences.
So it's about finding that intersection of your passions, your skills, and what the market actually needs.
Yes.
But in a way that AI can't just replicate.
Exactly. And the book gives you a framework for figuring out your own specialization.
Okay.
It emphasizes research, self-reflection, even a little bit of experimentation.
So it's really encouraging readers to be active participants in their own career evolution.
Absolutely. Take control.
Don't just sit there and wait for the robots to take over.
Exactly. Write your own story.
Okay, and there's one more piece of advice from the book that I think is just crucial in the age of AI.
Hit me with it.
Building a strong personal brand.
Oh, yes. Personal branding. It's huge.
It is. But I'm curious, how does it become even more important with AI in the mix?
So think about it this way. In a world where algorithms and automation are doing more and more,
Yeah, it's everywhere.
it's your personal brand that sets you apart, not just from other humans,
Uh,
but from the AI itself.
so it's how you showcase your unique value, the things that make you special and irreplaceable.
Yes. Even in the face of increasingly sophisticated technology.
It's those human elements, that authenticity, that's what AI can't replicate.
That's your superpower.
That's what makes you stand out.
Exactly. And the book gives you some practical tips on how to build that brand. Crafting your story, showcasing your expertise, online networking strategically,
Yeah.
and most importantly, being authentically you.
Like you said earlier, those human elements, that authenticity, that's what sets you apart.
It does.
It's what makes you valuable in this new world of work.
It is.
We've talked about a lot today, and I think AI in your job does such a good job of laying out a path forward.
It does.
It doesn't shy away from the tough questions,
Yeah.
but it also doesn't leave you feeling hopeless.
No, it's very empowering.
Yeah, it gives you the tools to take control
Absolutely.
and shape your own destiny in this world where human ingenuity and technological innovation, have to work together.
They do. It's the future.
So if you're listening to this and you're feeling even a little bit apprehensive about the future of work,
Yeah.
this book is a must-read. It's a roadmap for not just surviving, but thriving in the age of AI.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So go grab a copy of AI in your job.
It's out there waiting for you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.